On today's episode of PLUSH Conversations.
I was over it. I was like, you know what? This is it. But I gave up that day. I was like, I'm done. I doubted you so much. This is beautiful, but I know it won't work out. I was like, oh my gosh, they accepted the offer. Now I really have to buy it. I'm scared. You know, I didn't think he was gonna die. Like, I still planned everything as if he was gonna be there. All of my dreams were like tore down. And it's like, what am I even doing?
I knew you were already done.
And later on, stay tuned for a sneak peek inside this beauty.
Hey, YJ. I don't know. And every time I put on a cute outfit or something, I'm definitely twerking.
I have the honor of sitting down with yet again former client, now friend, Miss Kayla Oren. Having wanting to buy a home and make and build that foundation for her son, we met and we ventured into the journey. However, life always has its way. Having suffered a tragedy while in the middle of what is supposed to be one of the best experiences in life, how did we persevere? Or did we? Well, let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and I had the PLUSH experience.
All right. Thank you so much, Kayla, for joining me. How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Can you share with how we met and how you decided to use me as your agent?
Well, actually, I had been in the market just looking, actually. I was never really in the market to buy. I never really took it that seriously. So I was on realtor.com and I just started pressing inquiry on any property that I thought looked nice. And you just happened to be one of the agents listed on one of the properties I pressed inquiry on. I don't even think I was really actually interested in that property. But once I got your call, it was so different. It was your energy was very noticeable. And it was just like, this is the one, this is her right here. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to meet with just because of like, you know, your aura and the way you spoke. So it was just like, yep, I just want to meet with her. And I guess the funny part about that was there were a couple of agents, they were like older in age too. So that was why I decided to kind of talk with them, because I'm like, yeah, no young girl would know what she was doing. I got to get with somebody definitely experienced,
Right.
But you were just like so great. You like grabbed me immediately. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely just gonna at least meet with her and see. That's pretty much, why I decided to, click on your name. It was an accident.
The best mistake you ever made.
Yes.
So this was good because I like the fact that you said I wasn't actually in the market. I was just looking. Why did you initially even think to just start looking online? What was your motivation?
Well, my son had been talking about it. He wanted a home. I decided at that point, I'm like, okay, I have to take this seriously. I'm getting older, So I just figured like, hey, it's the time, I want my son to really actually know what it feels like to grow up in a house, because I grew up in a house. So it was just like, okay, it's time to leave the apartment.
You started it for him. You started it with him. I met him. Then at some point, you kicked him out of the process. Tell me about that?
Okay, I think what it was is that we put an offer on the house. He was so attached to this house. I kind of was doing it so much for him that I was almost going to let him even pick the house. So we put an offer on the house and I had been outbid. So he was so disappointed. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want him to get that attached.
How long were you actually wanting to buy a home before you actually connected with me?
Oh my gosh. So I wanted a home for years. I just didn't think it was really possible. I was really, really scared. So I was just like, I never, ever took it seriously. I wanted a house forever, but, actually to consider that I would actually really, truly buy, I was just like, no, I can't do it. I'm scared.
I always tell people, if you're not nervous coming into this process, then I'm worried. you should be nervous, not because it's a scary thing, but just like when you're planning like a nicey big, huge event, you might feel a little anxiety. So you are very normal having been nervous.
But I guess with you, I never felt the whole pushy agent thing. I never felt, I mean, I seen it towards others. That's kind of why I kind of like just threw my hands up like, hey, I don't have to worry about this. Simone has it because, you were like, a little, just not aggressive, but you were definitely very stern in your expectations from everyone, from the lenders, from the contractors, from anything. You were from the sellers, you were just like, literally had my back. But I can't say that I've always seen that with other agents. I want things a certain way, so no one's going to be able to do this until I met you. That's when I really knew, like, oh, somebody's able to do this.
I want to go back to now this part where we're standing outside this house and you were like, this is not happening. We had a whole breakdown on the curb in front of the house. Can you walk me through that?
Listen, I never admitted it to you just because you were not the person to let anyone give up. So I didn't even really want to talk about it, but I was over it. I was like, you know what? This is it. I am not looking for another property. Like, I've been into at least 5, 6 at this point. Like, no, it's just not for me. The ones that I like, I can't afford. So it's just not going to work. But I gave up that day. I was like, I'm done. After we walked out of that house, I was like, Simone, I'm not doing this. It's not for me. Maybe I shouldn't buy. I can just get a better apartment, And you were like, no, that's not what we're going to do. You were so confident, but I wasn't at all. I was just like, she has way more confidence. Like, she's wasting her time, but cool. Had kind of like let go at that point.
Yeah, you did. But I knew. So I said, I'm going to just go in and take this good old picture. And I'm going to give this to you on closing so we can remember this day when I told you so.
What's that? Do you remember that picture?
Yes, this is the day I started saying I was giving up and I wasn't doing it. And the very next visit, we found a house.
Can you walk me through the process as far as what you can recall and then how we actually found the home that you live in now?
Yes, well, throughout the process, we went and visited a few properties. I kind of detached, decided I wasn't going to do it. So basically, we seen this property early on in the search, and it was saying coming soon.
You're right, Kayla. It was on the market for the longest time. It's coming soon. But because it had sat on there so long, it actually went to temporarily off. Remember, it was just at that point, it was actually off the market. So I called them up. I'm like, hello. Technically, it's not on the market anymore. So can I see it?
I was just like, why are we going to see one? I mean, it was coming soon. Now it's not even on the market and you want to still go see it? Like, we're not going to get it. So I'm just like, here she goes with her on a little visits. And, I swear, like, now that I know you, it's almost like you could possibly tell me and give me any advice and I'd go for it because I doubted you so much. I knew you'd figure something out, but I was just like, maybe she can find me a rental property. Like, this is just not it. Like, I cannot go see another property and get disappointed.
What were you thinking when you saw that you pulled up and you realized where the house was? And then what were you thinking when we finally stepped inside?
This is beautiful, but I know it won't work out. Something to happen. It's Murphy's Law. It's just not, it can't go right.
Who's
because
Murphy? Murphy can't write laws. We need to throw that out. Murphy cannot write laws.
We should throw that out because I literally walked up, and I'm just like, okay, something's wrong. It had everything. It had everything I wanted. The separate space for myself and my son, because my son was a teenager at the time. So I figured he needed his own bathroom because I didn't want to share with him anymore. Mm-hmm. But I think we put the offer on it that evening, which probably was a Sunday, and they responded at some random hour, like 11, 12, midnight. And you're like, guess what? They accepted your offer. Then I freaked out. I'm like,
don't tell nobody I talk to my clients late. We can't tell nobody.
So listen, I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, they accepted the offer. Now I really have to buy it. I'm scared. So then I started remembering all the ways you're like, there's only a few ways to get out of your contract. So I started thinking of all those ways. I'm like, I definitely have to get out of this. What have I done? I've jumped out there. I don't know what I'm going to do. It was like really exciting, but scary too.
So you know what? You weren't exactly off kilter with that because something did happen that in your mind made you feel like, oh, no, I know I'm not buying a house. What was that event that took place in your life, smack dab in the middle of now under contract, that solidified that everything you thought before was true and you're not going to buy a house? What was that?
Well, it was crazy because, once I started looking, my boyfriend was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm.
And so it was like, I didn't think he was going to die. I still planned everything as if he was going to be there with me through it all. And dead smack in the middle of me putting the offer on the house and, the seller selling, accepting it, he was hospitalized. He went from, being so regular and, riding me around on his Harley every day to not even being able to walk. So it was just like really traumatizing. I remember one time where I went to show him a video. We had taken a video during an inspection.
Mhm.
And when I got to the hospital to visit him, I tried to show him the video, but he fell asleep. So it was just like, okay, he never got to see the house. He never even got to see a picture of the house. And it was like all of my dreams were like tore down. And it's like, what am I even doing? Can I truly even afford this by myself now? It was just like really scary to think like he wasn't going to be there. And it was just like, this isn't the time. I need to wait. I kind of don't remember having to deal with the hardships of it so much. The next thing I think I remember was you saying, hey, closing set for this day. And I'm like, wait, what?
I can tell you the reason why you didn't remember. I never told you. I didn't tell you until like closing day and all that good stuff. And after the fact, like, here's what was happening behind the scenes because I couldn't bring that to you. When you told me that, I was crushed. I put you on a need to know basis at that point. I knew you were already done. I knew you were, when he passed, I knew you were done. But I also knew the worst thing she could do right now is not get this house and be back at square one and still mourning a loss. That would be worse than actually starting a new chapter while you were able to mourn. And that's why I kept pushing.
You don't even know. I secretly made you my best friend that year. I mean, you don't even know. It was just like, your energy, your spirit. You were just so supportive during that time. And it was just like, does she know me? Like, are we secretly family?
What is one misconception, if any, that you would say that you had going into the process that going through the process, you realize, oh, this is not what I thought. I was actually wrong.
I would probably say my budget. I was really scared that I would not be able to find something that I wanted. At certain points, I felt like, hey, do I need to raise my budget? But the thing is that you can find in your budget. You're like, hey, don't raise. And you were weird the whole time. Like most agents will tell you to raise your budget. They were like, no, we're not raising your budget. You said you wanted to stick to your strict budget. So we're going to stick to that. And I'm just like, okay, Simone, whatever you say.
So Kayla, having walked down memory lane and being where you are now, if you could go back and do it again, would you change anything? And if you would, what would that be?
I guess if I could change anything, it would be my outlook of everything. I kind of went in and never expecting it to happen and kind of just, maybe not enjoying the whole process as much as I could have because I was so doubtful.
Since you moved in, what have you done to the home thus far? And kind of give me the motivation behind the decor in the different spaces.
Well, okay. So when you walk in the front door, we have like a family room. I haven't done much there yet. It's just a blank space with a pretty bay window. Here in the living room, this is where we gather. There's a table in here, like a high table. Then we have the sofa and love seat where we hang out and watch TV. I went with black and white because I loved the belly thing. Shout out to DMX. And upstairs in my suite, I did a homemade canopy. I had, kind of a little more expensive curtain rods that I used. And I hang the sheer curtains around my bed. And then I painted all the rooms the same darker kind of gray color. I ended up turning the bigger extra room into my closet. So I got rods and stuff and hang it up. So I have like rods and hanging clothes on one whole wall. Then I have shelves with shoes on the other whole wall. I painted it like a turquoise color, but I think I'm gonna change it to like light pink. I've been loving pink lately for some reason. So I think I might change that. But for now, that's like my dressing room. That's where I go if I just want to chill, if I want to have like a photo shoot in the mirror, anything I want to do and not involving my son, I do it upstairs because technically upstairs mommy's loft and then the basement is his.
We fitting to go into this plush round. Okay? These are the questions that you answer. First thing comes to mind. The intelligence section is out the window. Funny responses or what's something that used to be considered trashy that now might be considered a little classy?
Twerking. Seems like everybody's twerking.
What items could you buy that might make the cashier feel a little uncomfortable when you go to check out?
KY, Jackie. I don't know. Definitely KY.
And are you eating food past the expiration date? And how far are you willing to go?
Simone, oh my gosh, yes. Why are you calling me out? So let me tell you a secret. My dad thinks that nothing in a can expires. So I'm pretty sure I ate some canned vegetables that were like some months, maybe a year. Who knows?
You ain't dead yet. What is something you do in the mirror that you may be embarrassed to do in front of other people?
Work. I've been practicing for a long time. I'm twerking. Every time I put on a cute outfit or something, I'm definitely twerking.
You have been seriously, Kayla, an absolute pleasure to speak with today. Just to sit back down with you and walk through everything definitely did something to me today.
Thank you so much for having me on the Plush experience. I mean, thank you for so much for giving me the Plush. I mean, you know, to have it, to experience it, to be any part of it that I could be. I am so with it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. So that is it for the Plush Conversations. I'll see you next time. And per usual, for good time, old time's sake, for the one time, we're going to hit them with it is your neighborhood realtor specialist, Simone Plush.
Back at it again.
Thank you for playing along. You are a gem. I love you.
Thank you. I love you more.
Next time on Plush Conversations.
It was horrible.
It's a little heartbreaking. I wanted to give up on it. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, heck with it. We just gonna get
I
an
was
apartment.
determined.
We ain't gotta wait.
He thought we was gonna go out here and say we want this house and we was gonna move in next week.
I thought it was gonna be a short process. If we had known this was gonna be it, we would never bypass it the first time. I thought they were saying the hell with us.
Relay the message to him and he was like, I'm done, she's fired. That's all the way up.
And later on, stay tuned for a sneak peek inside this beauty.
Run outside naked.
You gotta answer that one.
Just gonna edit this on out of here. I'm pretty sure that was one of the times I got fired.